Okay. Welcome back to One Piece Anime Re-Review, episode number 61. Excuse me. This I'm reviewing the last, last 5 episodes are released for One Piece for the dub. Now, there's a small handful of new characters this one. Yes. Very few, mind you. Yes. There is sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is roughly 6 new characters who made a debut in just these 5 episodes. The first one, in the very first episode, is Charlotte Parlene. A very beautiful woman who is a hammerhead mermaid. And she's Aladdin's wife. Now, Aladdin himself did make his first appearance in Fishman Island. This is his beautiful wife. Now, normally, like, oh, captain of the crew. That's normally how this works. But, well, she married the first mate. And I'm like, damn, Aladdin, you lucky guy to get this beautiful woman be your wife. And she is huge. She's taller than her husband. Reminds me a lot of the relationship of Scott Free and Big Barda. Yes. And when she makes her full appearance in episode 791, it's like, are you going to abandon me? And like, no, good. And then she starts loving on him. It looks like at one point, she's about to shove his bearded face in her chest. Which she probably loves doing that. She's a very, very loving wife. I'm like, okay. And she has no problem betraying her own mother just to protect her husband. I'm like, what a very faithful wife she is. Yeah, despite the fact you're going against the person who brought you in this world. Well, my guess is probably her father probably was a fishman. Possibly, but only one of her husbands was shown in the series. Her 25th ex-husband, which he actually makes his debut here. Of course, he has not revealed to me yet. Well, in case you're curious, so Charlotte Parlene is voiced by Sarah Ragsdale. Yes, who actually does a pretty good job voicing her from these couple episodes she's in. Weird enough, I look up and see exactly who she's voiced, and she's nothing more than a background actress. This is probably by far, stuff I've seen anyways. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of our stuff listed as credited as additional voices. Actually, scratch that. She has voiced one character that I have seen. Riko Sakawa from Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid. So you have a woman who voiced a little girl, and now she's voicing a hammerhead mermaid. Interesting. Oh, if you're curious, how old is Parlene? You think by appearance-wise she might be about early 30s, maybe. She's 29. I'm like, wow, she's quite young. Yep. Yeah, and Aladdin himself, basically, we have Brandon Smith reprising his role from Fish Mountain. There's also Noble Crocodile, who he makes his debut here, too. Except there's no credit for his English dub actor yet. Not really, no. We do have one of the siblings of Big Mom make a debut here, one of her children. Breely. Yes, Breely. Who was voiced by Rachel Robinson. Yes, and I looked her up. Like, of shows she's been in. Like, stuff I've seen. She was the chief in episode 58 of D Gray Man. I mean, she's voiced of the character Wendy from Black Butler Book of Circus, which I believe was the 3rd season of the show. And this is stuff I've watched. And she was also in the Sailor Moon Crystal series. She was previously the voice of Kikio in this series. No, not the one from Inuyasha. Nope, this is the one from One Piece. Yeah, Kikio. Oh, okay. So it was basically, you might think it was a minor character, per se. but she's actually kind of in the Amazon Lily arc. This is kind of her return to the series, and she's voicing a woman who actually, I mean, yeah, if I remember reading later on in the series and watching the anime, she actually got chastised. She actually got her face. She actually has a scar across her face. Now, really, is 43. You thinking? You look at parents like she's 43. Like that's not bad looking for a woman who's 43. I mean, take like one of her siblings. Amelia, she's 47 and she's still smoking hot. Well, in the case of her, she's not that bad looking woman. I mean, yeah, she got a scar across the face, but hey, she's still not. She's still a very lovely woman. Yeah, I wonder though if she's actually Marcus' like sibling. I mean, same nose. Her sister is Barola, who looks nothing like her. No, not kidding about that. Like, I'm looking at a picture of her sister. Same age. Looks nothing like her. Yeah, it's kind of weird like that. Well, a lot of the time, Big Mom's children. A lot of the time, despite the fact some might be twins, they don't look a lot alike. That's why Breely has a scar across his face. It's revealed in a flashback later on that it was actually done to her when she was a child, and her brother Katakuri protected her, and it's very heavily implied that these two might be in an incestuous relationship, based on the fact he's blushing at his own sister, the fact she actually saw him, per se, from her mirror world. Yes, which I'm thinking, why the heck would Oda imply that two of Big Mom's children are doing it? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Breely herself physically only appears for like one episode, a few episodes, just to wrap this up. Yes. And they have the jerk that who's basically Sanji's father, George Volsmoke. Yes. Yeah. Who was voiced by Christopher Bivens, which, unlike some of the other ones who actually seem like are background voice actors, this one isn't. Nope. And you thinking, is there any big characters he voiced? Well, there's Hanasero. He's the guy who could shoot tape out of his elbow. Yes. This character named B from Dragon Ball, the vertical franchise. He's also in JoJo Bizarre Adventure Diamonds Unbreakable as the Italian chef. Tino Tessari. Yep, same guy. Who voiced a very, very nice chef, and here he's a complete heartless jerk. He doesn't show up in the thing, it's like 793. That's when he finally shows up in this thing. And there's also Pound. Yes. He technically shows up in 792. He's most like in the ground a lot of the time. Yes. He's voiced by Patrick McAllister. Oh, if you're curious though, how old is this guy? Based on his appearance, you might think, oh, he might be in his 50s. He's 48. Which makes him exactly, get this, and you're going to love this, which makes him only 5 years older than Breely. Yep. And this guy was married to Big Mom. Big Mom is 66. Yep. Married a guy who's about 20 years younger than she is. Why? It's kind of weird. Even he looks older, he really isn't. So, with these episodes, we have a few things going on here. First of which, we hit this up with Jinbei. He goes to Big Mom, and of course, basically, he's requesting to leave her service. It's like, okay, looks bad for me. Time that you forgive up something to me. life or death. And it's not followed up on here. It's basically seen very briefly and then move on from that. We do see the Sun Pirates where Jinbei is basically giving attention to basically leave Big Mom and go join Straw Hats. His crew mentioned that they've heard it several times, and of course mentioned about Parlene, and of course when she shows up, he of course is not going to abandon her, and then of course that she's like very lovely to her own husband. Yes, and that's it for them. This whole period of this thing. Now mostly aside from that. Now, then we have Luffy, Carrot, Nami, and Chopper. Now, also, before I continue with them, there's a brief thing with Pedro and Brook, where Pedro is tasked to go get the Royal Poneglyph, and Brook goes with him. They ride in the Shark Submerged 3, they ride for a while, they get out, Brook disguises his face, and there's a thing in the newspaper, and that's the last of that we see of them. And excuse me. I'll get this up with Sanji. I'll discuss it with the group is up to. So, excuse me. Basically, Luffy thinks he sees Sanji, and he doesn't talk. Oh yeah, and they find out this actually is not Sanji. This is actually just an imposter. Because at one point we do see Pudding here, even though she's nowhere to be seen. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So when they arrive there, and of course, choppers are in the ground, it's actually just hard whipped cream. They eat it, they like it. And of course, they're running after Sanji, and they enter something basically that is pulled out of Alice in Wonderland. Seriously. Like, the first thing they encounter when they get in there is a talking crocodile. Yes. And then they encounter Randolph, the rabbit, who, according to Carrot, is not a mink because they can't use Electro. Though it's rumored about, in the case of Trafalgar Laws, his polar bear navigator, who is a mink, it's never reported if he can use Electro or not, but this rabbit definitely can't use, so it's not a mink because it can't use Electro. Okay, interesting to say the least. And while they're running, they run into Pound. Yes, who is literally a guy stuck in the ground. And he likes like that. As for how the heck he got like that, I do not remember. It's been a few years since I've watched some of this stuff, so I do not remember what the reason was. They did say he's happy that he's... Like, can I please get a drink of apple juice? He asked it several times, and they just keep ignoring him. Yeah, then at one point where they're basically walking through here, and then Luffy encounters Luffy. I wonder how Colin Clickabear found about this scene. Like, 2 Luffys? What is this? I'm sure she probably felt that way. Yep, and then Luffy starts fighting himself. Oh, and by the way, this actually is not Luffy, the other Luffy. It's not some illusion. It's actually Breely, disguised as Luffy. And she is tall. And I think it was Carrot thought she was a talking tree. Because the tree and the ground talk. It's Big Mom stuff. What do you expect? Yes. Then, of course, she takes away those 3, and they're not seen again until probably what happens next year. And, of course, Randolph's spear ends up in the back of Pound's head. Luffy pulls it out. And then, of course, looking for everybody else. And that's it for that. The last thing I'll talk about here is Sanji. He's walking through the main castle of the German 6-6 base. Well, their country anyways. And he comes across a particular piece of wall. A wall that is shown in a small flashback that his 3 evil brothers beat the crap out of him in front of it. And to explain later on, this happened right after he cooked a cake, which they refer to it as rat food. Yes, seriously. So, by the way, it's shown he does tolerate his sister. Unlike his father, he hates his father. And it's shown in flashback the reason why he hates his father. The reason is because the man basically abused him when he was a child. And basically tried to forget about him. His own child. Yep. Oh, by the way, after he counters the wall, he briefly counters Yacha, where he proceeds to beat the crap out of him. Make him, yeah. And he was actually quite shocked the fact he did. And then, of course, they decide to, of course, they argue. Then, of course, they have a fight. And during the fight, Judge notes, my son knows hockey. He's quite shocked the fact Sanji knows hockey. I mean, he hasn't seen him in over 10 years. Yep. And it's a really good battle. I gotta admit, it's probably by far one of the best one-on-one battles seen in the whole arc. And probably one of Sanji's best battles the whole series. As a matter of fact, he is kind of forced to lose thanks to... He's about to land a particular kick on his own father when he's firing his spear off. And then, of course, there's wall. He stabs one of his own men because apparently they have no problem with it at all because they're trained to do this. Sanji kicks the spear and, of course, he's knocked out. And then when he wakes up, and of course, when he hits later, he's bandaged up by his own beautiful sister. And after chatting with his dick father, his sister is the one who's basically kind of told to do this by giving him handcuffs. They're explosives, which apparently based upon technology used by the Celestial Dragons for slaves. And this was loaned to Judge by Big Mom because he wants her help in reconquering the North Blue. And she wants this technology. Yep. And that's it. And of course, Sanji, has no choice but to go with the wedding anyways. Yeah. But then we gotta admit, really good 5 episodes, and I definitely can't wait to discuss whenever they decide to release their remaining 83 episodes. Yeah, this arc is 95 episodes, and there's 83 left. When does it come out? Probably in a couple weeks. Maybe 3. It depends. Yep, so yeah, that's a particular view. Next one's going to be Case Closed. Okay? Next video. Bye.